And I just wanted to ask, what got you started in comedy?
Hey, thank you listeners, thank you for tuning in. Matt, thank you for having me. Here's a handshake. It's a podcast, so you guys didn't see that happen, so here we are. Thank you for having me. Comedy, how did I get started? I've been performing, I'm 23 now, turning 24 soon. I've been performing since I was 17, started like late year 11 in high school. I just walked to an open mic night one night. I went and saw Jerry Seinfeld perform. And then I was like, I could do this. And then I just thought, I know, it got me real interested. I was already like interested in stand-up comedy by then. I saw Rowan Ganju perform in the Raw Comedy National Finals on like a Facebook clip. It's like a big comedy competition the Melbourne Comedy Festival holds every year, just for like open micers. And I saw his set, and it's like, man, it's the first like real time I'd actually watched stand-up comedy, and it fucking blew me away. I remember like genuinely having such a great time, barely laughing. And then I went and saw Seinfeld a year later, and then like a month after that I found out there was like an open mic night to perform. So I didn't tell anyone. I just walked like 5 kilometers to a gig. Yeah, it was like, as I live in Hamilton, and the gig was in like town. I hadn't been taught how to catch a bus at this point, so I just had to. I didn't get a lift, so I just walked the entire way. Did 5 minutes, just great. It went really well. Just try to be funny, and also I was like a little kid. I was like 17, so everyone was so nice to me. Everyone was very welcoming, and like I just kept doing it. Just kept going back like once every week, and then you start doing it a lot more. Start doing 2 or 3 gigs a week. Start traveling down to Sydney to do open mics and that kind of stuff. It's all just coming up through the open mic scene. The open mics are just like anyone can get up and have a go, and that's how you just figure out how to do stand-up comedy. It's just you get a 4 or 5 minute spot and you do your set and you go home and yeah. And in terms of starting comedy, and then you just get better at it over time. Just as any skill, there's an entry level, and then you go from there, and you just kind of get better over time.
Absolutely, yeah. Practice makes perfect. And in terms of that said, you graduating high school, how did that,
James Connors, the other business owner of the Newcastle Comedy Club,
let's go.
has entered the chat. James, I'm here with Matt, who is a uni student, and he's doing a podcast on what's it called?
It's a podcasting and radio.
Podcasting and radio course, asking about the comedy club. You want to get a part of it? You want to? James is silent, doesn't want to intrude. How are you, brother? He's trying to interrupt. Okay, well, I'm sorry to allude to you too much.
Just want to quickly, ask about in terms of the comedy club itself. How did you gain access through renting? You were talking about renting the building.
Well, James and I are here. James over there is the other business owner, along with Alan Brady, who's another guy. We started talking about it early COVID, I'd say. Everything shut down because of COVID, like all the open mics and all the book shows that we were doing because everything closed. Yeah. And then I don't know how we got to it, but we were just talking about what if a actual comedy club opened in Newcastle.
Absolutely.
Brady, who's he owns a film business. He had a lot of experience starting businesses and that kind of stuff, and had a few contacts. The guy who owned the Crown and Anchor Hotel, which was the first open mic that we were talking about just before, he owns this space, and so we're just kind of we're talking around all these different rental nerds, we had so many small meetings with just rental agents being so we kind of want to open a comedy club, and they were like, that's insane, what are you talking about? But this guy who runs the Crown and Anchor, also owns this space, was very nice enough to listen to us. And there was a barber shop in here initially, and then they went out of business during COVID, and so this space opened up, and here we are.
Here we go.
2.5 years later, and it's going really well.
That's great. Just want to ask what was mum and dad's reaction when they found out? You didn't tell them, or did you tell them straight away hey?
For the business?
Yeah, business,
it's just kind of it was how do I explain it? It was a small, you let them know that this is what you're trying to pursue over many months, because it wasn't until we got the green light in 2 months before we opened, because we got the thumbs up to be you can use this space and you've got 2 months to renovate it, so go for it. And so everything before that was just kind of hey, we're trying to open a comedy club, and I hope that goes well. And they were like, all right, make sure you get insurance, so if someone falls down the stairs, you don't lose everything. And I'm like, all right, okay. It's generally what my parents' advice was, just get insurance. That was the main gripe they had. My parents have always been very supportive. They're nice. They've always just let me do my own thing. They haven't really intruded, so yeah, they're nice. The only thing, my dad Yeah, good advice. Just when we opened, he was just mad that we didn't have ice. That was his big gripe. We just didn't have ice for a while, and he just hated that so much. He still brings it up to the point where people started. Remember when people started bringing their own ice to the comedy club, James? That was nuts. We didn't have ice. Well, we got told that the bags of ice that you buy at the servo would be bad in drinks. Like they said, like it would like taste bad or something like the water. So, and then we got told that an ice maker would be too expensive and too loud to have in the club. And so we just went with no ice. And then one day we bought a bag of ice and it was completely fine. That was like a year later, we just had no ice for a year. And now we have ice. So, it's just little improvements at the club. And now we have nice drinks.
Beauty. That's the way. Oh, I can't. Yeah. It's just like attribute as well for the good night. I'm just gonna stop this part in the segment right here, and we'll do another recording.
Nice.
And this recording will be going into not just the promotion, but like the comedians walking through the door. So, here we go. Elliot, talk us through how it's helped local comedy, local comedians grow, and comedians coming from other states to perform.
Man, well, in terms of the local scene, has definitely had the most tangible benefit. We're just all doing pub open mics for years. Just no one's there for comedy. Like the open mic I was talking about initially was on $2 taco night. So everyone's there to have a taco for $2, and then some guy gets up and goes, "Hey, are you ready for comedy?" And everyone's like, "Ugh!" And then it's fucking James and Elliot getting up and having a go and ruining these people's nights. So it's just and that's how everyone got good. It's just by doing this. If you can make those people laugh, then you can do well on an actual show where people have paid to see comedy. Because you've honed your craft allegedly. But the local scene has definitely benefited. Well, even me, I've benefited so much from this space. It's because there's just a dedicated space to get up and perform. People are here to see comedy, and B, there's a lot more. You can get up a lot more. Like open mics were like fortnightly kind of events, where this is running 3 times a week. You can get up heaps, and then Sydney's not that far away and that kind of stuff. And in terms of like touring acts and that kind of stuff, this space is such a great space for them to come. It's a nice 90-seater room. Before this, like there would have been the Civic Theatre. You have to pay $18,000 to hire. It's like, what the hell? It's like, but here you just come, you pay $250 and you get to hire the space and perform to 90 people and go home. So yeah, we've had heaps of great acts like Tom Gleason and Lloyd Langford and Will Anderson. I'm trying to think who else. Well, any other big names that I've missed there, James? And now Peter Hellier was here recently. Just some big people coming through,
It's incredible.
And it's just gives us an extra location in Australia, because the Australian comedy scene, there's only like a comedy club in Sydney, there's 2 in Melbourne, 1 in Perth, 1 in Brisbane. That's it. And then there's 1 in Newcastle, and so that just adds 1 extra place that people can visit, and also they can come do spots. Like people will do like a Friday and Saturday performing on our showcases, and then sell out on like the Sunday or the Saturday night or something like that, just to do their own show and go home. So it's just a nice little run that people can do. And and just it's people from Sydney. It's only a 2-hour train up, so we get a lot of acts who wouldn't perform that night, just come up, and Sydney's got so many great acts. So we can utilize that and utilize their comedy scene for getting acts and MCs and all that kind of stuff. So it's great.
That's great. That's phenomenal. I'll just stop the recording there, and then I'll go for another one.
Nice.
For the next segment. Thank you, my man. This is amazing. So in terms of, how do you say, promotion, who helps you with promotion in terms of that said? So when it comes to website building, forms being filled out for the comedians,
Sure.
How does the promotion happen? How does the forms get filled out? And ultimately, how do the comedians walk through the doors?
Right. So to book people initially, people just reach out on Facebook. Here's Alan Brady, the other owner of the Newcastle Comedy Club,
Beauty.
doing a little uni assignment. Brady.
Oh, sick.
Brady's a teacher at the university. Teaches. What do you teach? Film or something?
Yeah.
Beauty.
I feel like
Awesome.
I should know that.
Film
Definitely
teacher.
that you do that. The question, promotion, that kind of stuff. So comedians get booked, just me and James do all the bookings, so people just message us on Facebook, and people reach out via email and just be like, hey, I'm going to be in Newcastle on these dates, you got any spots? and we just let them know what we do have, and it all just kind of lines up with their skill level. Like if it's like, people are headliners and some people are opening acts and that kind of stuff. In terms of promotion, James does a lot of promotion through just Facebook marketing. All our ticketing's through like Eventbrite and that kind of stuff. We had like a partnership with Newcastle Live for a while. They were helping us a lot with in the early, like the first year. They were helping us just get awareness in the community. It's like people still come to the comedy club today and go, yeah, we had no idea this was here. We've been open like 2.5 years now. So it's like, there's still people finding out. And yeah, just word of mouth is always a big, people love word of mouth, People, if a friend tells you go to the comedy club, you'll be more likely to go to that rather than if you just hear an ad on Facebook, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Branching out.
Exactly. Hey, the Branching Out podcast. Shout out Spotify. Give it a listen.
Give it a listen, ladies and gentlemen. It's so good. Yeah, it's on Spotify now.
Yes. Yeah.
What is that?
Spotify and iTunes, the Apple podcast kind of one. I don't know how to get it anywhere else. I was hoping to post it on YouTube, but when I was first starting, I run a little podcast, a little recommendation podcast for anyone listening. And the space on my laptop, like the storage on my laptop, was so small that whenever I'd make a new podcast, I'd have to delete the old one. So now I just have no record of the early episodes. It's just kind of like, it's brutal. So I hope that I can recover those somehow. But yeah, right now the podcast is on Spotify. There's 27 episodes up. A little recommendation podcast that helps trees get planted. So it's a little charity podcast I run.
Oh, that's so good. There you are.
Planted 620 trees so far. We're getting into it, guys. Get around it. The Branching Out podcast.
It's growing.
Yeah.
Trees are growing.
Hell yeah, dude.
Lorax ain't got shit on you. I just wanted to quickly ask, in terms of that said, with the comedy club opening, did you know it was going to be successful, or were you a little bit worried?
I mean, yeah, we're definitely worried. Well, yeah, when we opened, COVID was still in its second swing. Like it had a first big swing that everyone can remember.
Was it?
Yeah, Omicron. Yeah, exactly. That happened right as we opened, which was fine. We just, who cares? So people got sick, and it's fine. It's 2 years later, we're still going. Horrible. In terms of being worried, yeah, I mean, when we were first shopping around, we tried to buy, we tried to rent the old comic book shop on Union Street. Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, we wanted to go into that space when they closed down. And I just vividly remember sitting in cafes with James and Brady, just talking about like, so if our rent was like 500, and how would we cover that? So we wanted to run shows on like a Friday or Saturday, and even like the open mic, we were like worried about we wanted to run an open mic through this imaginary comedy club, but we're like, yeah, it'd probably lose money because no one would come and this kind of stuff. And it was just like very we have no idea if this is going to work. No one's ever run a comedy club in Newcastle before. And then, yeah, the open mic last night look at all those shares out. There's 60, 70 people in here just watching open mic comedy. People love it, it's great. It's just, so in hindsight, obviously you can only, but yeah, you just got to take a risk and have a crack and do your best. Try to just make the best comedy club or the best project you can if you're doing anything else,
Absolutely, yeah, and it's incredible.
Be fearless, my friend. Set goals that are momentarily out of your reach, and then work as hard as you can to get them within reach. That's my life advice, guys. Always set goals first, and just try to do it. You're gonna be great.
Your beauty. I'll just quickly, thank you so much, Elliot. I'll quickly stop that segment there. We'll go to another segment here for this question. And this question is ultimately just, how do you say, it kind of wraps up in a way and like highlights what the Newcastle Comedy Club, from my perspective, is about. But of course, sure, we'll want to hear your point of view. Do you think the Newcastle Comedy Club is bringing the best out of comedy for the Newcastle Hunter region in terms of making the community laugh, saving comedy, and putting on a good show, as you always have done?
Sure. I mean, the people who run it, like me and these other guys and everyone else is involved, are all comedians at heart. So everything that this club is about, and everything, and the way, even just the way it's been designed in terms of the chairs and the colours and that kind of stuff, has all been just with the intention of creating a good space for comedy to be done. Because we just did so many bad gigs in RSLs and pubs where it's, it's the big ceilings and all the lights are on, and there's no light, and the microphone's shitty. Exactly. And so now that we're here, it's just like, it's such a this is such a weird boasty thing to say, but this is just so you guys know, this is genuinely called one of the best comedy clubs in Australia. People love it. They all the comedians in the Australian comedy scene the word of mouth has been crazy. And then everyone comes and just has a great, and it's just there's nowhere else like this in Australia, really. There's another comedy club in Sydney, the Comedy Store, which is like a 400-seater, maybe, I think 300-seater. And that's like a big kind of corporate run kind of venue, and it's great. It's a fantastic comedy club. But this is just a grassroots kind of comedy club run by 3 fucking dumb comedians trying to have a go. And people love it, So yeah, I think it has benefited the comedy scene significantly, especially the local acts, like the Newcastle comedians have gotten so much better in the last 2 years, just from having a space to develop, and they have an open mic they can get up every week. There's still open mics that run around town and that kind of stuff to really have that pub experience. I'm doing one tonight just to try new material and do a pub open mic because they're hard. It's really hard to make people laugh when they're not there to see comedy. But that's how you get better, and then you can come here on a Friday and Saturday. If you're killing at the Crown and Anchor or the Stag and Hunter, then you can absolutely kill on the Friday and Saturday showcases here because everyone's paid money and they're here to see it, and the jokes are tested and refined. So yeah, I still have a soft spot for that side of comedy. I think that's how you get better, is just by doing that kind of stuff. But this is where you can really just stretch your legs and show off your skills. So yeah, I think the comedy scene has benefited significantly. The Australian comedy scene definitely has. Sydney comedians, they come up all the time and they've got a place to do solo shows and that kind of stuff. But the Newcastle comedy scene especially has so many great comedians. Paige Halley, Ethan Bentley, Mitch Coyne, Luke Dillon, all these kind of guys have come up through these horrible pub open mics, and now they've just been, not only that, but then they've had 2 years of development within this comedy club of just like performing in front of an audience who cares. And so they're actually just, really flourished because of that. So yeah, I think it has been a success for comedy, people, it's just comedians getting better, It's all comedy is, it's just comedians having a go, and at the end of the day, it's a skill set which requires time and trial and error to get good at. But yeah, that's comedy club's enabled that a bit more,
Thank you so much for that, Elliot. I'll stop the recording there.
Yeah.
And then in terms of thank you so much for all this content. This has been amazing. But in terms of an outro, I wrote an outro like the Newcastle Comedy Club is here to stay. We are open and ready to make you all laugh.
Or, yeah, do you want me to I'm happy to promote the comedy club.
You can just go for it, as an outro, and thank you again so much for all this. This has been amazing.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so Elliot, to wrap up, just wanted to, oh my god, that was terrible. I do apologize. We'll go there.
Oh, bro, I completely understand.
Take two. Elliot, thank you so much for your time. And to wrap up and send a great message to our audience, to our listeners, what would the message be from your point of view?
Guys, come to the Newcastle Comedy Club if you're looking for a night out. It runs Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Open mic night's like a free show on Tuesdays. Anyone can get up and have a go. Anyone can come and watch. It's just a fun hour-and-a-half show of just live people having a go. It's mayhem. It's funny. It's a great time. And then we have our Friday and Saturday showcases at 7:30. It's like a ticketed kind of thing. You can buy tickets online, but it's just like we get all the best comedians from Newcastle, Sydney, Melbourne. We try to just book a great comedy show and it's just a comedy club run in Newcastle. It's just on the corner of Derby Street. Come check it out. Come see it. Come experience it for yourself, because who knows? Keep it going. Yeah, not much else to say really. Just thank you for supporting live comedy, and thank you for listening, listeners. And yeah, hell yeah. And shout out to Matt for doing such a great job. It's fine.
I had one more thought.
Yeah,
in terms of that said, that was amazing. But in terms of that said, everyone else. Yeah. So, the doors are. That was amateur mistake. Doors are always open. So the variety of comedy as well, because with the comedy scene, when it comes to the audience, comedy, in terms of the variety of comedy, I guess the narrative of what it is, the taste of it, maybe a variety. It doesn't, we're
sure.
Tone, different tone. Too easy. Cool. And just the last thing, Elliot, in terms of the variety of the comedy that is shown and like projected to an audience.
Yeah.
What kind of like, how do you say, style?
Sure.
There's varieties?
On the Fridays and Saturdays, there's like 6 or 7 comedians. They all have different styles, different personalities, different points of view. So you definitely just get like a completely wide range of that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's different touring acts coming through. You'll just see a normal like trying to think, a lot of musical acts come through, a lot of just big headliners and that kind of stuff, a lot of uncovered comedians and that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, on like also on Wednesday nights we run like these like $10 ticket shows where we run like roast battles, and we run new material nights, and we run there's like the thing called No Holds Barred, which is like very rude comedy if you're into that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just a whole different variety of comedy in Newcastle to come and see. So yeah, other than that, yeah, just come experience live comedy. That's all I can recommend. Yeah, and check out Elliot Stewart on Instagram. Elliot Wants Attention. It's a great, just having a go. I've got some comedy reels up there. I'm doing live shows all around Newcastle and Sydney. So yeah, come check that out.
Beauty. Thank you, Elliot. One last thing. In terms of like the audience of the Hunter region, yeah, like you said, like anyone can perform.
Yeah,
and like in terms of like because we've got how many like members of like is like chairs. You've got like
this is like 70 out right now. The most we can do is 90.
90. So like a crowd of 90 people watching a first timer.
Yeah.
That's so motivating.
Yeah.
Like, did you want to say like the Hunter region, like the Newcastle Comedy Club can literally, because this is for Hunter stories and like for Newcastle itself.
Sure.
Like, bro, like what do you reckon? Like it can expand. It can help small, silly comedians.
Yeah.
You know, and like ultimately.
Yeah, I'll speak on that.
Yeah.
Please.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, the other question I had in mind was about, you know, this comedy club is open to the Hunter region, and in terms of that said, it's open to anyone. Quite literally anyone to perform, anyone.
For our open mic nights on Tuesday, you can just sign up online, and there's also other open mic nights around, just in different pubs and stuff. I can reach out on Instagram or something. I'll give you more information on that. But it is just like if you are looking to start comedy, if you are looking just to even just come and watch and see what if you could have a go, like if you don't want to get up immediately, you can even just come and watch a night and just see what the vibe is. And yeah, stand-up comedy's fun, you know. There's no entry level. Come watch an open mic night, you'll be like, oh, I can do better than these guys. You know, there's some people who get up and you go, oh, geez, the longest 5 minutes of my life. But there's some people who start and they just it speaks to them. You know, they really just want to keep going with it because it's fun. It's fun getting up in front of people and trying to make them laugh. It's a very rewarding experience, making people laugh, and it's it's a good creative endeavor, just learning to write jokes and just trying to become the best version of you on stage. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Elliot. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for listening. And Elliot, I cannot thank you enough for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Pleasure as always.
Elliot Stewart, ladies and gentlemen.
All the best. Thanks for listening, listeners.
Thank you.